Let's start the show. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome, everyone. I'm Rivkin, strategic tax planner, business growth advisor, and a real estate investor. And thank you so much for joining us today for this week's advisory Q&A session. For those of you that are our clients, welcome back. Those that are guests, we do have lots of guests joining us today, so you can take a look. It's a sneak peek of what's happening in our company. This is what's happening on a weekly basis. And I'm so glad that you are here with us. You can get some benefits. This space is actually designed. Okay, Vlad, you want to take notes? I guess
Just
we
want to
can do
remember
that.
everything you're saying. Sorry, but I can
Yes,
solve
I'm
it.
okay with that. Yes, that space is designed, guys, for you to learn to ask the questions. Yeah, so it's designed to ask you questions about anything, about the taxes, about money. I mean, I think money is the most painful subject for all of us, right? We spend all of our lives to work to earn this money. So anything about money, taxes, business growth, scaling, management. We have our marketing team here as well. You can ask questions about the marketing. I have my amazing team here. I have Marina. She's our operations manager. So those of you that have questions in terms of the growth of the business, putting the strategies, systems, processes, we're here to help you with that. We also have Vlad. He's in our sales team. Sales. If those of you that looking to grow the business, to get more clients, we have sales team here in the house as well. So this whole space is designed for you guys. Take advantage of it. Ask any questions that you have. And I'm opening the floors. I do have few questions, Marine, that we got from our client. She was not able to attend, but she does want us to address these questions as well. And I think that everyone can learn from it because these are great questions. So the question was, how much money you need to make per day to actually be profitable, not just busy? And I love this question. Absolutely love that. I love that even I have to give this to the credit to my client because she's already thinking strategically, because a lot of the times, right, so like we in this business as the business owner, originally we opened the business with the idea to help because we're passionate about something, we know something, and then we want to help, and obviously at the same time we want to be rewarded, we want to make money. But then as we start this day-to-day operations, then it just takes toll of us, and there's like so much going on. We have to take care of the task, the employees, the clients, burning all these fires, and then we just forget why we even start the business. So I think this is the great questions, because, and there's another thing that I love to say always is what gets measured gets done. So if you're not measuring, if you're not setting the targets for yourself, so then how do you even know if you're achieving your goals or not? This is a great question. So, and let's dive a little bit deeper into this. Well, she's in particular asking profits per day. You can, and I suggest, because I do calculate it myself on a daily, weekly basis, a monthly basis, then every quarter, mid-year, annually. So the first thing is definitely like I would suggest in the beginning to set up the annual target. So to set up for yourself annual target, then it doesn't matter if you have the business, starting the business, or even if you're an employee, we all should have targets. So we all should have measurable targets. So let's say, let me just give you an example. So let's say you want to make $1 million. All right. So that would be your annual target. So the next step, what you do is that now you start breaking it down. So I would suggest, and this is what I do for myself. So you break them down in 6 months. Then you break them down into 90 days. Then you break them down into the 30 days, and then weekly, and then daily. So this way, by doing that, you're giving yourself possibility now to create these goals, so this way you can start achieving that. Because if you're gonna set up like this big target, $1 million, right, you're thinking, oh my god, like that's a huge amount, how I'm gonna achieve that? But now as you're breaking this down into the small pieces, and then especially daily, now it gives you the possibility to start taking this daily action, be able to track, to measure, so this way you're gonna get to that desired goal, the outcome that you set up for yourself. For those of you that have the businesses, so now you take this even further. So let's say we did this annual target, we broke it down to mid-year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and then daily. So the next step is you want to calculate what is your expenses, what is your overhead. If you have an office space, how much rent you're paying, how much utility, insurance. If you have employees, so it's it's very advisable to calculate all of this. So you want to calculate everything, like all the expenses. And here, like we talk about like budgeting. If you probably everyone heard about this, those that don't love the numbers, thinking, okay, like budgeting, I hate this. But I actually, I don't like the word the budgeting. I like the forecast, the projection. So basically, and this is what I want to be talking more about now. So we're projecting, we're setting up the goal, we set up the revenue goal. So the next thing is now, okay, we calculating, okay, like what is the expenses, like what are the projection of all the costs that we have. So you're going to calculate all this cost for the year, and then the same thing, you break it down. You're breaking down on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. So now by doing that, okay, now you can see, okay, like let's say, for example, you want to make $10,000 a month in profits, right? And now you calculated that you have all the expenses, it comes out to 40,000. So now the next goal is, if you want to make 10,000 and you want to make sure that you cover 40,000 expenses, so then how much you need to make? You need to make $50,000 a month. So that would be your target. Okay. So, and then the next thing, and you're breaking even more down. Okay. What are the opportunities I have? Like if you have let's say if it's an existing client base business. So like, let's say for myself, I guess I'll just make it easier based on my example. And I do exactly the same way. So now, okay, if I need to make $50,000 a month to cover 40,000 in expenses and then 10,000 to have in profit. Okay. So how much do I have right now in the monthly recurring services? So I, for myself, set up my business. So this way I have consistently monthly recurring services. I'll talk more about this. So then let's say, I'll just give an example. So let's say I have 30,000 in monthly recurring services. So my goal is 50,000. So then the gap to close is now $20,000. So if I have this existing clients that already pay me 30,000, now I have to go and look for new clients for some kind of services, some kind of offers that I have to sell it for this $20,000. So this way I can meet my goal. So, and this is exactly how you do. So let's say if you have products, I know Yuri, you sell products. So let's say in your case, if you don't have monthly recurring services, obviously you need to go and like search for these new clients. So then in your case, if your goal is $50,000 a month, so you're starting from zero every single month. So that's another challenging part. So now I'll talk about the monthly recurring services, because that's what I set up in my business. Because before, the way I used to run my business is it was all seasonal, since I'm in taxation. So people only think about taxes when you have to file your tax return. So typically it's like March, April, or the extension, which is September, October. And then I would have all these clients coming in March, April, pay me this large amount of money, and then I will have no income up until September, October. So, and typically when the seasonal business is like that, this is how you operate. So now I had to think, okay, how to save all this money, because I still have to pay the rent, I still have to pay expenses, I have to pay taxes, all the things. And then every month you start from zero, where you don't know where the money is coming from. So having the monthly recurring revenue, this is something that allows you to have this secure and predictable revenue. So every month you already know there is a certain amount of coming no matter what, and then it evens out. You receive this money throughout the whole year. So you already you know what to expect, you know how much you receive. And then the next thing was, okay, obviously, it doesn't mean that you slow down. You still want to grow your business. You still get more clients, provide more services, or sell more product. And this is where the goals come into the place. So that's why it's very, very important, to set up the goals, to know your expenses, to have this monthly recurring revenue, because this is like already steady cash flow that you can rely on to cover the ongoing expenses. Also going back to the expenses, and this is, I see a lot that this is happening with the business owners. So that's why, again, I'm talking about like to calculate your whole cost. Let's break this even more down. And this is because I'll tell you, because that's what I see. So like whenever you're hiring someone, right? So you're hiring someone and you, let's say, hiring them and you're paying them like 60,000 a year salary. If you just want to calculate this 60,000 as an annual salary in your projection, then that would be wrong. Why would it be wrong? because on that $60,000 as an owner of the company, you have to pay taxes, which is Social Security, Medicare. So every employee here has to pay this, which is 7.65%. Also, you have to provide insurance, pay for the insurance. At the same time, let's say if you're providing health insurance or pension benefits, like all these extra benefits, you have to factor all of this into the $60,000. So let's say we calculate all of that, it's going to turn out now that you're not actually paying your employees $60,000. It's going to come out to like 75,000. So you see, if you're not factoring all of this, if you're not calculating, then then you're not setting up the goals correctly. And then, then you don't even know, okay, like, are you going to be profitable or not? And so that's why it's important to set the goals, to know all the numbers, because the last thing that you want to happen is when the year ends. And I hear this a lot. The business owners, oh, I have no money. I have to pay the taxes. I have to pay insurance. I have to pay my employees, and I have no money. And the reason they don't have money is because they do not project. They do not calculate. They don't measure this. So that's why I wanted to share this. I love that question that came from our client. So she is setting her up for success, preparing herself. So that's great. So also to build up a little bit more on that, because I just want you to see how you not only, okay, the great is that you already know how to cover expenses, you want to make a profit, but now let's say you set up another goal. So if you want to grow your business, if you want to scale your business, so let's say, again, given an example, so now, okay, you want to still make the $1 million in profit, but now you also want to, you calculated in order for you to make this $1 million in profit, you looked at all your resources, you looked at your employees, the client list, and you see, okay, you know what? Then it means that I need to bring more clients. To bring more clients, then I need to hire a salesperson. So like that's like what I did in my business. Yeah, before I was doing everything myself, but then I realized, okay, like I only have 24 hours in a day. So unfortunately, I cannot do everything all by myself. So now I need to expand. I need to grow my team. This is why I started hiring salespeople. And then before that, 2 years ago, this is why I hired the operations manager, because I was managing everyone. I was managing the teams, and I realized, okay, in order for me to grow my business, now I have to use leverage. And the way to use leverage, and this is, by the way, exactly what wealthy people do. It's not for you trying to do everything yourself. It's to be able to be resourceful, leveraging your time, leveraging your resources, and then bringing more people into the team, because they're the ones who is going to help you to make all the money. So if the goal is to make $1 million, it doesn't mean that you physically have to go and work hard to make all this $1 million. And I think a lot of the times this is the perception we have. But it's, who do I know? Who can help me? Who do I need to hire? Who do I need to bring in my team? Who do I need to train? So like these are all the things, all the questions that you ask yourself. Because a lot of the times what I see, what happens is like we don't set up the goals because we are afraid that we're not going to achieve them. And the reason for that is this, because we focus on like how we're going to do this. But the question is, it's not how we do this. It's actually who can help us to do this. And if you switch this way of thinking, it's not like how you're going to do this. It's who can help you? Who can you bring into your team? Who do you know? Who do you know that can introduce you to someone? Who do you know that can help you with this? Who do you know that has achieved that and then teach you or share? So, if you start asking these questions in terms of how, instead of how, you ask who, believe me, the whole financial situation, the whole life is going to change. What have you learned from what I just shared?
I can say.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
a lot of people here, they know me, and I know I've been doing sales, and especially before working in construction. And it always depends on how much you sell. And if you don't sell, you don't make any money. So I started on the side. Some of my friends who here, they know, like cleaning janitorial business services. And it was like consistent. And it was like every month, I had one appointment, two appointment already scheduled, and I love like just the way it works because it's because it's scheduled. The only thing I failed, I think, because I realized that when you lose this kind of client, you lose it completely. So I think I need to learn I'm now, when you saying what you're saying, I was thinking I have to go back and maybe reach out to these clients or find the new ones for the recruiting services. Because I remember it was last year, the moment when I had those, and now I don't have them again. It's absolutely different because you don't have that much stability. There I had it. I knew the money coming. Yeah, you definitely encouraging to go and look back for the recurring contracts, recurring like things. Even though it was not big money, it was still money that coming passively and consistently. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Ella.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, thank you. Yes, I love that.